Hey, my pretties, it's the Lion Queen here. Welcome to episode 246 of Shadows and Pretties. And today in this episode, we're going to be reviewing a movie that a lot of people somewhat don't like for some reason, but it's definitely a movie I kind of briefly remember watching when I was younger. But now I actually haven't watched this movie in ages, but it's a pretty good movie. Of course, this one is called The Magic Roundabout. Now, this is also known as Dougal, which of course, in the US it was released as Dougal, and this one came out in France in 2005, and then in 2006 it was released with the English dub and script. So, yeah. Anyways, this movie does have pretty good acting, and I'm not gonna lie. They've got a lot of good actors, like we see right here. There's a lot of good actors in this movie that actually did a pretty good job. Now, this movie, even though it was released in the US and Canada in 2006, it came out in 2005 in the UK. So, this story basically is about Zebedee, who is a red jack-in-the-box-like creature, is having a nightmare about a nice villain named Zebad. And while we do have Dougal, who is the well-meaning, cheeky, slacker dog, plays his attack on the road to pop the sweets cart, hoping to get rewarded for treats for watching the cart. So after the driver goes for help, Dougal accidentally crashes the cart into the magic roundabout or carousel at the center of the village. Zebad, who is the evil blue jack-in-the-box-like creature, emerges from the top and flies away, followed by a foot guard figurine thrown off the roundabout. So the roundabout eventually gets freezes over, trapping a repairman, Rusty, Dougal's young owner Florence, and two other children named Coral and Basil with an icy cell. So horrified villagers, who are all animals, call upon Zebedee for help. He explains the magic roundabout was a mystical prison for Zebad. With it broken, Zebad is free to work with his magic on the world once again. He did this once by starting before the Ice Age, and the only way that can stop Zebad from freezing the world is collecting free magic diamonds, one supposedly hidden on the roundabout, while the other two are hidden and separated at locations far from the village. Slotting for the diamonds onto the roundabout will pretty much imprison Zebad and undo his magic, but only if Zebad retrieves them first. Then their power will allow him to freeze the sun himself. Of course, Zebedee sends Dougal, Brian the cynical snail, Immature the opera-singing cow, and even Dylan the hippie rabbit to accomplish the mission along with the magic train. While Zebad tries to crash to the land, trying to escape a roundabout, he basically tries to stop them. The whole concept of the movie was actually quite interesting. Especially given the fact that the movie basically involves, talking animals, pretty much trying to stop, well, you guessed it, stop the villains by retrieving the diamonds and imprisoning them in their cells. It's pretty neat, to be honest, and I honestly still thought it was really well made. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is actually in this movie in the United States version of Dougal, and I personally think that the plot of the movie itself is honestly really good. Eventually, I have to say, this is one of those movies I kind of briefly remember watching, but haven't watched them since I was a kid, so I would have to rewatch the movie as an adult just so I can remember, oh, that's happened, or whatever. The plot of it, I mean, it was a pretty decent plot. Seemed like a pretty good plot and along with any adventures. It's honestly pretty good because I've seen this movie a long time ago when I was a kid, so I kind of briefly remember much of it. Now, with the whole movie of its own self, I mean, the acting in the UK version actually did pretty decent. Maybe not perfect, but definitely a decent one. Although I do prefer the British dub of Thomas and Friends because, that one, even though I'm not a Thomas fan, I still found the British dub to be pretty amazing. With Dougal, on the other hand, when it came to, the animated, the US version, I have to say that dub was pretty decently done too. Maybe not 100% perfect, but definitely one of those that is somewhat so bad, but it's so good at the same time. I mean, this is about talking animals going on an adventure. It's pretty epic, to be honest. I have not watched this movie in like years, so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and rewatch it. So I went ahead and rewatched it, and surprisingly enough, it was still a pretty good movie. I honestly really thought it was cute. I mean, the characters were well made in detail. However, though, the villains on this one honestly did a pretty decent job. I mean, it's a pretty good plot, but at the same time, it's just basically based on what other people think, because other people may have their own opinion on this. I didn't think this one was bad, but it was definitely one of them that actually did pretty good. Now, in my honest notes, when I actually looked at this, I actually thought this movie was not going to be good as an adult. Well, it's a decent movie. Not perfect, but it's definitely one of the better ones out there, and I've seen movies in better days, so this one is definitely one of the movies that didn't really suck. I mean, that's just my opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, that's fine, because you can say your own opinion. I'm not saying you have to like the movie or whatever I like. That's just how I roll with these. Now, I don't have this movie on DVD or anything, but if I ever get it on DVD, I definitely would recommend the US dub of it. I thought the United States dub was pretty good. So, there's definitely some good stuff in this movie. Although, it's just definitely one of those movies that you liked it as a kid, but it kind of grows on you over time. And I think maybe that might be just me, but I personally don't even know. But with that being said, it's just a pretty good movie. And I personally thought it was really neat and well made. So, when I first watched this movie for the first time, I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was a kid when I watched the movie. And I thought it was pretty good, actually. I mean, that's just my honest eyes. Eventually, the movie's called The Magic Roundabout in the UK release and that. But in the US release, they eventually changed it to Dougal. For anybody, just because I think the name Dougal for the US version fits the story better than the title and The Magic Roundabout. But I don't really know which one is the better. But like I said, that's just up to you guys to decide. So, I didn't really talk about too much about the plot of this movie because I haven't really watched the movie in like years. It's still a pretty interesting movie. I mean, it does have its ups and downs, but it's still a pretty interesting, well-made movie. I mean, it does have a good concept, and it does have a really well-made concept details. So I definitely gotta say, this movie is definitely one of them that could have been better, but definitely not terrible. Anyways, I guess with that being the said and that being the case, I personally would recommend this movie if you like animation and adventure movie and that. This movie, I recommend you check it out if you haven't. But like I said, I respect your opinion if you don't like this movie. Like I said, this is just my own opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. Maybe if I ever do get the chance to rewatch this movie for the second time as an adult, maybe I might just, might have my opinion change. But the fact that, these characters go out on a quest to get all the diamonds and, save everybody from the villain, it's kind of like almost a little bit of a repetitive plot because almost a lot of movies like this that involves villains, taking over stuff or something, it's kind of almost repetitive plot lines. But like I said, this is an older movie, so, but I mean, the newer movies, they kind of somewhat come up with better plots and better ideas, although the Loud House movie did a decent job. But with that being said, this movie definitely is one of those movies that is so bad, but it's so good. But to me, I find this movie to be a guilty pleasure of mine. Maybe not the best movie in the world, but definitely not terrible. Now, anyways, with that being said and that being the case, I'm just going to sit here and just say right now that this is just my own opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these movies, and this is just my own thoughts. If you don't like this movie, I respect your opinion. And if you like this movie, I respect your opinion too. And anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what do you guys personally think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Do you like the UK dub version? Do you like the French dub version? Do you like the US dub version? Let me know what you guys think of any of those in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. I want to thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Be sure to ring the bell for notifications when I upload so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out, everyone. And like always, I'll see you all next time.